gonna be terrible.
Screwed that up. Forgot I had that thing still up. But hello and welcome to Best of the Bottom. We got a very special episode today. Not on our normal time slot, but we have a very special guest that we'll be interviewing. Kind of started with one day I was standing at Walmart at the grocery store, just noticing that the newsstand seemed awfully empty, and realized that there's something important missing. And that important thing was the weekly world news. And in times like this that we are living in, this is the time when we really need the world's most reliable news source. So today we have Editor-in-Chief of the Weekly World News, Greg D'Alessandro.
Hey guys, Justin,
how's it going?
How you guys doing?
Doing
All
good,
right.
Doing good.
Good. Appreciate you guys switching up your schedule for me here. Going off on Monday night. On here, that's great. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, not a problem. Anything to help get the word out for Weekly World News? And
absolutely. Absolutely. We got to get the word out.
Yeah, I probably wasn't doing much of anything right now anyways. So,
okay.
Get an interview in and get some live streaming in.
Great.
But
let's do it. Let's do it. You guys are looking great.
I would say, thanks. How are you?
All right.
One of the first questions I wanted to get to is tell us a little bit about the Weekly World News. Not everybody is familiar with it, especially some of the younger generations.
Right. So, Some of the younger folks aren't as familiar with it, but it started in 1979. It was part of a company called American Media Inc., which was they do the National Enquirer. National Enquirer started in 1952, and then in 1979 they went from black and white paper to color. So then they had these black and white printing presses, still that they owned, and they wanted to do something with it. So over the years they had people clipping articles from around the world, around the country about these bizarre and strange stories that they didn't want to. They couldn't put into the National Enquirer. So they started this Weekly World News, had the idea. So they started putting in these stories about, 23-foot grasshoppers and strange stories from around Florida and the South and everything. And it kind of caught on. It got its own audience going, and they got a little staff together to bring these stories that no one else was reporting on to the public. So started in 79, it started picking up, doing really well in the 80s, and especially because we started reporting on Elvis. There was a lot of Elvis sightings because Elvis had died in 1977, but people saw it, so we were reporting on the facts, which was that Elvis was still alive. So Elvis, and we had a number of stories about it. People seeing him. He was first spotted in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So that was big news. So we followed that up with a lot of stories about that, and reported on some different different beasts, we'd say, from around the country. Like every state has these beasts. Like in New Jersey, there's a Jersey Devil, and stuff like that. In every state, in Mothman, right, in West Virginia. So a lot of people don't think they exist, but they do. So we started reporting on that, and then in 1992, we introduced this iconic character that maybe a lot of your audience knows about. Not Bat Boy. Here he is. Bat Boy is our mask. Bat Boy mask right there. So yeah, you can get the Bat Boy mask on our website. Ooh, there it is.
Nice.
This is a good one. Very comfortable, and it works great. So there's
the website right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and we're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Weekly World News. Yeah, so
got the Twitter handle right here.
Oh, great! Thank you. Very, very good, Justin. Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So in 1992, we reported about, finding Bat Boy in this cave in West Virginia, which, people had kept the secret. And he was brought out by this Dr. Dillon, and they took him to a lab, an FBI lab, to find out how did this happen, where did he come from, and all this. And it just became this dramatic story that we were reporting on. And, then Bat Boy escaped from the lab and the FBI, and he was on the run for many years. And we had an inside track to the Bat Boy story. So we followed Bat Boy very closely. And after that, we started getting, tips and things about other kind of cryptids or, half human, half animal, when there's a lot of them out there, So we started reporting on people like the abominable beach man and PhD ape, which is like the smartest being on the planet, about PhD ape. And also we started reporting about a lot about aliens, because there's a lot of, we get a lot of information on UFOs and aliens. And we started reporting about this one alien, Pelod, who was very politically connected. We're not sure exactly where Pelod came from, but Pelod, from back to when Reagan was president, had met with all these presidents and taken a picture with them. So we have, he advised presidents, very politically savvy alien. So over the years, you would see Pelod with Bill Clinton, with George Bush the senior, George Bush the junior, and a number of times, we put them on the cover, Pelod with the president. They would actually take Weekly World News and show that, hold up the cover with them and Pelod and proudly display it. So,
That's amazing.
we reported a lot about aliens, and that was through the 90s. And we did have a TV show in 1996 on USA Network, talking about all the stories that we had. We cover a lot of areas. There's a lot of biblical prophecy, health cures, conspiracy theories, aliens, and stuff like that. It kept growing and growing. It was in print only until 2007, when American Media Inc. sold it to an investor group in New York called Spycat, which is one of our characters. So,
all right.
So Spycat bought it in 2007, and we went online till about 2015, and then it kind of went dormant for a while, and kind of ran out of money. And end of 2019, myself and a couple other guys, David Collins, Joe Corcoran, we got together, and we're relaunching it. Now, I had been a writer since in the early aughts, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
And online for Weekly World News, and I've written maybe 4,000, 5,000 articles and posts for Weekly World News. So I was knighted the guy to be the editor-in-chief, and with our team that's growing every day, we keep bringing it all the way back. We want to get it back into the supermarket where Justin wants to see it.
Definitely.
That's what we want to do. Some people think it's crazy because, like, why would you go back into print? Everything's digital, Like, I look at it like, you got your MP3s, you got your digital music, but some people are into albums, getting the actual vinyl back again, right? So we want it in print in stores where people saw it and loved it, and also be online. So that's our charge for this year, to get it back in print, as well as other things, another TV show, film, etc. So that's a brief overview of it. In 1998, there was also a musical based on Bat Boy. Tim Robbins, the actor Tim Robbins, had a company called the Actors Gang, Culver City, California. He got the rights to do the story of Bat Boy. We, again, just report on Bat Boy, but we were able to get the rights for him. So he got the rights. He got a couple of writers that did the musical Heathers. They wrote the music and the lyrics, and they put it up in Culver City, and it did really well. They brought it to Broadway, off Broadway, but it was 2001, and it opened like at the end of September, and then kind of closed. But then it went on to do very well in colleges and high schools for about 10 years, 12 years. So a lot of younger people do know about Bat Boy from this musical. So we have a lot of younger people, some older people, and right now our target people seem to be 25 to 44.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
So I don't know. It's just like
that
it's a weird thing. We're so
falls right in between our demographic. I'm 37 and she's 27. Bam, right there in the middle.
Well, that's why we did it. That's great. Yeah, we want people to get come back, fall in love with Weekly World News. We're trying. We're apolitical. We don't want to be political. We just want to report the news that no one else reports. The world's only reliable news place where you can come and get the stories that no one else is telling you.
Yeah, definitely. Those.
Yeah,
that's the important thing. These times we need reliability, and Weekly World News delivers every time. And I want to get to what was the inspiration to really start bringing it back into our news stores and everything else. Because, like I said, there was a little bit of hiatus, and then everything went digital.
Yeah.
But what inspired you guys to really give it that solid drive back?
Well, I'm a WGA writer, and I worked on a lot of scripts, rewriting scripts and stuff like that in LA. And I've worked on stuff. I worked on a show in China, a kids show that was popular. And but I was always pitching stories in LA, even at the National Lampoon, other different places, and people would say, "Oh, what else are you working on?" And I would say, "Oh, I write all these stories on the side for Weekly World News." Wow, Weekly World News, that'd be great, because we have over 100,000 stories and 300 characters, which is ripe for people to do movies and TV and all that on. So I would get a lot of that. And also, we had over the years, Steven Spielberg had the rights to a TV show, and he was shopping around for a long time, and it just it wasn't his top on his list. So there's a lot of interest and passion about it, especially people that grew up in the '90s. They remember going to the store and stuff. So there's a lot of passion in that generation. So we're like, well, we got to bring it back, because people keep asking about it all the time, and there's still a lot of love for it. And so we want to bring it to a new generation and bring it to people that, don't know as much about it. And it's sometimes people put us like in a category with the Washington Post and New York Times, but others put us with the Onion or something like that, Babylon Bee, which they came to the offices in Florida that we had to see how we ran our operation. But, so we think the articles, we have columnists, it would be great to bring it back. It's a fun place where people go for a little different kind of news.
Yes, it's definitely some of the funnest news you can find as well too.
Yeah. Well, there's stories no one's talking about. Sometimes people think they're not, factual, but we have really top-notch investigative reporters reporting on this stuff.
That's a perfect segue, because that was one of my next questions I wanted to ask you without revealing any sources. Obviously, how is it that your columnists and reporters are able to get these hard-hitting stories, that the world is dying to hear? I mean, it's very impressive, very impressive.
Well, that's we do have a lot of. It's taken a while. That's the benefit of having an organization that's been around since '79. We have a lot of tipsters. We get tips. Mostly, there's ones that are in the government or related to the government. They give us some tips on different things that they've seen that's not out there. Anonymous kind of tips like that. And we also have people, some of our reporters are out there actively seeking the stories, like in each state, like a character like the Lake Erie Monster, which is like a descendant of the Loch Ness Monster. We've heard about that for a long time. So we send, a reporter out there to really get the truth on that. Same thing with like a Bigfoot too. We send out, we go out, we find out about, there's multiple Bigfoots, by the way. So we got them all out there. So yeah, it's mostly tips, a lot of government tips. So that's where we're getting it.
Oh, that makes sense about the Bigfoots, because Diane had a question about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
We had concerns when it came to the Bat Boy Bigfoot 2020. Diane, what was the question you had? I mean,
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
concerned.
One of the issues of Weekly World News I remember the most is Bigfoot getting married.
Oh yeah.
And then I also remember seeing other people claiming to be Bigfoot lovers.
Yes.
And I was just wondering if that was going to be a scandal for him or.
Oh yeah. Well, Bigfoot, even in this last year, has had a lot of things going on. Now, we got to differentiate now. You got a couple Bigfoots, but there's a Sasquatch, there's a Yeti, you got a skunk ape down in Florida. These are all different things. But the Bigfoot we've been we're following, yeah, there was we wrote some articles about someone that was Bigfoot's love slave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And then Bigfoot sort of became a father, but we're not. It's not very clear. But what's going on with that. But he kind of went to like a hibernation for a while. Well, in this past year, I don't know if you know, but he ran for vice president with Bat Boy as the president. So, but right before that, and he, all that love slave and the getting married, he was kind of on his own again. So, he kind of separated, went his own way. Kind of went deep into the woods, north of Montana into Canada, and they came back. So, he ran for president, but before he did that, he tore his ACL. That's how he came back out of the woods. Like, he had a bad ACL tear in his knee. He went into rehab, got it better. And some people thought it was rehab for drinking. That wasn't the case. Okay. He went into rehab for the knee. And then he came back out a little bit. And then, he has run across Bat Boy before. So Bat Boy thought he would be a good, vice president, because a lot of people, have good feelings about Bigfoot, and he's powerful. He's a secure. So, but that is you're very good, Diane, because you're absolutely right. He did get married. He had a number of people that said that they were his love slave. Yeah. Now, we also had him in this last year. Sarah Palin was someone that had an obsession with him, and she was trying to. He didn't want anything to do with her. So
that makes sense. I could see,
Yeah. And then there was a rumor that Jennifer Aniston also liked him, but that was just a rumor. Again, we try to track these things down, make sure that they match up to the truth and what's going on. So that was a good. But now Bat Boy and Bigfoot, they lost. They win. I don't know if you noticed, they didn't win the presidential election. They didn't get the coverage they want. The press again ignores these stories and everything, which is outrageous. He got a little depressed, and right now, as we're speaking, and we've only written about this a little bit, but he went into the Appalachian Mountains, Bigfoot, right now.
Okay.
And the last thing we heard is he was, this might seem unbelievable, but he was running building a moonshine operation, because I don't know, he was depressed, and he's never really drank, but maybe making this made him feel better. But we have not really confirmed on where he is exactly now and what he's doing. But that's the last place that we saw him, was in the Appalachian Mountains. I think just in southern part of North Carolina by South Carolina, Asheville, somewhere around. So if anyone's out there, and so he was making some moonshine, Yeah, maybe there'll be some Bigfoot moonshine out there. I don't know.
Hey, I would buy it. We'll review it on the podcast. That's kind of what we do. That's the whole thing. We're bottom class people drinking bottom shelf booze.
Oh yeah. We do have Bat Boy beer too. That is being sold in West Virginia. If anybody wants, that's by a Greenbrier Brewing Company. They sell Bat Boy beer. I think it's coming. This year's is coming out again. They've been having problems with cans this year. I don't know if you know, for beer, because no one's drinking out of kegs because of the pandemic. So they're drinking there's no cans left. So now they got the cans. And Bat Boy beer's coming back.
Nice. We'll definitely have to track some down, see if we can get some out here in the Southwest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely to review it.
Have you guys seen Bat Boy down there at all? Ever any sightings you know of down there?
Here we got La Llorona and the Chupacabra. There are our big ones that tend to be running amok down here at times.
Yeah, Chupacabra. We've reported on the Chupacabra a lot. There's you have just one Chupacabra. You have a number of Chupacabra down there.
Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than one. I mean, there's lots of open land out here, and this desert is awfully dark, so there's probably plenty of space for them to be hiding out. Not too far from the Mexico border, so they could be coming and going as they please, hiding out wherever they want. It's
right, but you haven't seen any haven't seen it outside your house or anything yet.
No, I live pretty well within the city limits, so I don't. Okay. I'm not sure they're willing to venture out here, right. But I do know some people that live out in the outskirts, and they have been known to hear some unusual noises out there, but no direct sightings. So
I see. Okay. Well, as long as you're safe, Justin. I want you to be safe out there. Yes, okay. So, yeah, there's, like I said, we've got them in like every state almost. We've reported on, I don't know if you know, we followed this being for a while, Manigator. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Manigator.
Yes, I was looking through the weeklyworldnews.com just a little while ago, which you can see right here down at the bottom. I was looking at an article and I saw that there were some articles about Manigator. I get a chance to read through it. I was just kind of perusing through, seeing if there's any other information I could find.
There is some activity on that one too, because Manigator, for those who don't know, half man, half alligator. And he first came out of the Louisiana swamp. Well, we didn't know that this was, we're very skeptical too. We don't believe everything people tell us. They say there's a Manigator. We're like, that sounds crazy. But we go and we investigate. We went out with some swamp boat guys. They took us there. Not me, but the reporters. And they waited and waited, never showed up. And then all of a sudden, this thing comes popping out of the water. Manigator was kind of scared everybody in the boat, but he was injured. The Manigator was injured. It was kind of bleeding and everything. So they took him in and they kind of took him out to take care of him. So the top part of his body is a man, and the bottom part is an alligator. So how did this happen? And quite frankly, from what they said, he kind of had the personality of Bill Murray, a little bit like that. So like a surly kind of guy,
Yeah.
So after they banded him up, they gave him some beer, and then he started talking a little bit. And he told us a little more about this whole thing about manigators. Which, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, I feel like the beginning of this Manigator probably started with a Florida man was found with, and now you have Manigator just taking a wild stab in the dark.
Yeah, could be. That could very well be. Yeah. So it also turns out, so he, while he was grateful, he told the reporters about this cabin that had, 200 Manigator eggs. See, because this is another thing, might be the government or some private organization. They created these genetically modified beings in these and the egg. So the guys that our reporters were with, they called the sheriffs and they went over and they destroyed all these Manigator eggs, and then he kind of escaped back in the water. But it turns out this could be breaking news for you.
Oh, breaking news right here.
Breaking news right here.
Breaking news. I should have made a graphic for it.
Yeah. We break the unbreakable news because no one reports on it. So it's, they didn't get all the 200 eggs. So there's like about 6 to 10 that are out there. So our Manigator, the one we've been reporting on, is mature. These other ones are now, we got some teenage Manigators out there. That's all I'm telling you. So we're going to start doing some, Teenagators, they're very good. So maybe they're, we'll be having some stories about that this coming months, because there's reports of a lot of sightings of this down in Louisiana and Alabama right now. So we'll see where that goes, but we're following it. We're following these stories. We're going to follow it all.
That's definitely important. I'll keep my ears to the ground. I still got some friends living out there in Florida, and the South area from when I was living out there. So I'll make sure that they're aware and keep an eye out.
Yeah, you want to make sure. Yeah, make sure that if you get a tip on them or anything, let us know. We'll send somebody down there to report on this and get this out to the public. So
definitely for sure. I'll keep an ear out for anything that happens. This is a breaking news right here.
That's it. There are manigators, other manigators out there, teenage. Justin's got the scoop here. You guys are,
I feel very honored for this privilege here. But
you're welcome. Yeah.
I want to get to another article that I came across. I didn't get a chance to read the whole article, but it got me thinking about the man selling his soul to the devil, and now the devil wants a refund. And now I was just kind of wondering if this is becoming a regular occurrence with the devil wanting refunds. It just feels like with the economy and inflation, it just seems like the soul doesn't carry the same value it once did. Is this becoming a common issue with the devil? Yeah,
the devil's been acting up a lot lately. We have an article someone's working on right now where one of the portals that from hell up to here is being closed down because he's worried about what's going on up here. He doesn't like everything. So it's the same thing with the soul. It was just not acceptable to him. It's almost like a declining in value. Sometimes it goes up. Sometimes it's sort of like Bitcoin. So it's going up. And right now, he just doesn't think that this man, in particular, so it just wasn't worth it. So you got to give the money back. You got to give it back. You got to give the soul back. So devil's been very fickle lately. He's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. Things are a little crazy up here, a little crazy down there, and he's getting all messed up. So I think maybe he's backing off of this whole buying soul things for a little while.
It might be a good idea. Just for a little bit. I just can't see there being the same value there once was with everything going on. It's a mess. It's a mess. But
it is harder for us to get some of these. Team, there it is. Yeah, great. Yeah, it is a little harder for us to get some information out of the from out of Satan's lair down there, devil's lair. But we try and we do. We get whatever we can, and if we hear about something like this, we let the people know right away.
Oh, definitely, because I mean, you don't want to be going up there trying to sell your soul. Maybe you're looking for fame, riches.
Yeah.
I don't know, you just want to play the fiddle better than anybody else alive. I don't know, but you don't want to go through that process, and then suddenly you're faced with satanic litigation. Because face it, I mean, he's got the best lawyers, right? It just makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, it's odd that people would have trusted the devil all these years anyway, all these centuries, I guess. The devil's going to make a good deal, but it seems like in character that he would back out and do something underhanded, right? I mean,
definitely. Seems like the shoe was on the other foot now.
But we're not Republican or Democrat. We're not a libertarian. We're down the middle. Same thing with the devil. We report about God, Jesus, the devil. We got it all. We got it all covered on all ends. We report on a lot of biblical things. Like we had. I don't know if you know, about a year and a half ago, we found the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
Right. We found it a couple times, but this one I'm pretty sure about. It's in Wyoming. So south of Cheyenne, I think it's like an hour and a half south of Cheyenne. And they found the original apple, like petrified apple. And they did some DNA on the apple. There was still one bite out of it. But, so they found that. So the Garden of Eden in Wyoming, who knew that, right?
I mean, who would have thought? I could have thought of many other places, but Wyoming is the last place I would have thought to find the Garden of Eden. I've driven through Wyoming. I've been through there. Right?
Oh, you have? Yeah, I've been there, huh? Would it make sense that it would be there? I mean, I don't know if they have a garden like you'd think. Maybe it'd be New Jersey, the Garden State. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. When I saw in Wyoming was a whole lot of emptiness, and some cattle fencing. So it's kind of surprising that it would be there, but stranger things have happened. Of course, Pangea, like the world moves on those tectonic plates. So I
That's
guess
right.
it's very, very, very plausible when you really think about it.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we had recently discovered about Moses too, that he actually had a rudimentary. He had a GPS system way back then, but he still got lost for 40 years. He just he didn't know how to use it very well. Well, you can't blame him. A lot of people didn't know how to use it because they didn't. Nobody didn't even know what the word technology meant. Never heard of it before. So this guy's got a GPS. Can't blame him. There wasn't anybody to go ask how do you use this thing, right? So,
that's very true. I've trying to help the grandparents with their iPhones and computers can be quite the trouble. I couldn't even imagine trying to use GPS back in the biblical era.
You can't even give up and tell them to go call Geek Squad, right? There's no Geek Squad. There's nobody to help, So he, no fault of his own, he just didn't know how to do it, right? Can't blame him.
He tried his best, and you know what? He did get there in the end. He did get there.
He did get there. Yeah, a little drama along the way, but
it happens when you're traveling in a group. There's always a drama.
Right, yeah. When you travel in a group, that does happen. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah.
And Strobe also pointed out men don't ask for directions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they never do. Right. So now, we like to report on everything, even health related things. We report on all sorts of things. We had reported on. I don't know if you guys knew that recently they declared that Twinkies were a superfood. I don't know if you guys knew that at all. So there's a bunch of doctors. They tested it and retested it, and they actually recommend everyone eat 1.5 Twinkies a day. One in the morning and half of one at night with a half a glass of water. And
that makes sense.
It really helps your immune system, and it just helps your overall health overall. So if you can, if you can eat 1.5 a day, it would be good.
I mean, the Twinkies are likely to survive a nuclear holocaust, so it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. It really does.
I mean, and it wasn't just the Twinkies they tested. I mean, you just think, they just made that up. No, they had tested devil dogs, they tested yo-yos and ho-hos and all that kind of stuff, Suzy Q's, stuff like that. It was the Twinkies that actually had a beneficial effect on a lot of people's health. So we do like health cures to talk about. I'm sure. I don't know if you have Twinkies down in where you are. Do you? Yeah.
Yes, we got Twinkies. I mean, there was that whole calamity where the Twinkies were discontinued. Was it Hostess had shut down for a bit and then bought back up? That was a trying time for a bit there, Yeah,
maybe that's when they kind of did their special, sauce there and injected it with some nutrients, special nutrients and stuff.
That could be.
I don't know. I'll have to ask. We'll have to check into that a little more. But that, it is possible. And we keep looking at different. There are a lot of people working on baldness cures and stuff like that. And I think we're getting close on reporting some things.
Oh, good.
Will really help you because that's a major thing. That's
exciting. Yeah.
Oh no, you look good. You look good, Jesse. You got plenty going on there.
It's all a ruse. It's all a ruse.
Yeah.
But since we're getting to some science tips, I spent several days or hours, like many good mainstream journalists do, is just sitting there and coming up with baseless speculation and conjecture. But a scientist,
yes.
I was just starting to wonder, is it actually many scientists, or has it all been one person this whole time, Dr. A, scientist, and it's just been there in front of us? I don't know if you want to reveal this, but I'm just.
We always refer to a scientist, and without making it seem too secretive or anything. The fact is that there are a group of scientists that we go to We have a lot of them in all different areas, but there is a scientist that kind of is the ultimate, judge. So we can get, science. You have to go to a lot of them because they don't all agree, and then a scientist will make the final verdict on which side. Because people, they disagree. That is science, where you put something up and then they try to debunk it, and that's how science works. But a scientist, the one that we report on all the time, and I'll tell you this: I won't tell you whether it's a he or she or anything like that. But
I can respect that. They obviously are very busy, and I know some anonymity is required.
Yeah.
They're not distracted by fame.
Yeah, you can imagine. The press going after them and find out. You would just skip right to this person all the time. So we have it into this person's office too as well. So we get a lot of scoops that way as well. Yeah, from the scientists.
Huh. Well, it's good you have a direct line to get these types of stories out there to the public that definitely need to be reported on.
Yeah.
And actually, I wanted to backtrack real quick because we heard about how Bigfoot has been reacting to this unfortunate loss, which, to be honest, I kind of partly blame myself as I didn't jump on board the campaign early on. I discovered it later on, and I feel like I didn't contribute my part enough to spread the word of Bat Boy Bigfoot 2020. But Bigfoot 2024, Bat Boy Bigfoot 2024, trust me, I will be on that hype train. I will be on that hype train. I will be making sure on this little podcast of mine that people know.
Oh, I don't think it'll be little, but we're gonna keep growing. It's gonna be a big podcast, and maybe again, we just report on it, but there are a lot of people that are pushing for him to run again, Bat Boy, and I'm certain he would want Bigfoot as his running mate again. But we'll have to see. We've been in touch with the campaign. Supposedly, Bat Boy took it hard, because he never got the full. He went across the country. He had speeches in Texas and in Philadelphia. He was in California. He was in Illinois. But a lot of people didn't report on it. We're the only ones reporting on it. So he took it a little hard. He went to he wound up going to England for a little while to get away from it all. He met with the Queen. Yeah. And unfortunately, it was right before Christmas. He was getting a little too excited, and he bit her. But so that wasn't good. But she took it in a good way, and she wound up biting him back, which was surprising. But she's a tough woman. She bit him back bravely.
That is a bit surprising with the decorum that the English tend to have towards with a royalty. But I guess she's getting up there, and when you get to a certain age, you just get a whole lot of screw it. So I could see you get bit, you got to bite back. So
So they look when it was a private event because COVID, you can't have too many people, but he got in.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people talking about bats from Wuhan that has something to do with Bat Boy. He's got nothing to do with it. He doesn't even like people that talk about Bat Boy soup, as you can imagine. Or
yes.
Come on, he's not even totally against all that. But it was a small group, so when they left, they parted. They were on good terms. They parted friends, and he vowed to be back. As a matter of fact, another scoop for you guys is that we've heard that while he's like reassessing what he wants to do, and he's going to be taking a little world tour this year, Bat Boy. So he had a good experience. He had never been to England before, so he came back. Went to his West Virginia cave, and now he's thinking of taking a little world tour, go to maybe 50 countries this year, and see what else is going on, see what other citizens around the world are thinking, and then maybe bring some of that knowledge back. He'll be more expanded, And also, again, since he ran, some of the government people are, hounding him again. So just go away for a little while, 6 months.
Yeah.
Right? I was like,
good to lay low, clear your head, focus on yourself, get that personal growth and get back out there, don't just, give up.
Yeah, he's going to go. He's not going to, Europe or any of these band plays, but he is heading out. very soon you'll see him in different places, and hopefully he'll be safe and won't get into any trouble. But you never know with that boy. He seems to.
That's true.
And by the way, last year there were when he first was found again, he was in LA, and the FBI was after him again, trying to get him back because he hasn't really aged since 1992. So he's been about the same. Like he should be 36 years old, by the way.
Yeah. Well, they do say bat don't crack.
Right. Oh, that's very good. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So he hasn't aged, but there's like a genetic thing going on, and maybe he's got like a little bit of the fountain of youth in him or something. But so they're looking for him again. A celebrity took him in Hollywood and took him to her place in Nashville. That was Taylor Swift.
Oh.
Taylor Swift took him in and like was kind of protecting him with some other people. But then she got a little too attached to him. She wanted to have something a little bit more, and that's when he took off, escaped from Taylor Swift, and he hit the road again. And then she was very upset. I'm sure she wrote a song about it. She hasn't released it yet, but
yeah, I was about to say we know what the next album's going to be like.
Yeah, exactly. So then he kind of went off, and then he fully dove into the re-election, and he had other people that wanted to be his first lady, but he was going to be the first single president in a long time. So
yeah, that's definitely some historical events to happen there.
Yeah, he had quite the year last year, and I think this year will be pretty eventful too because he goes, makes his way around the world introducing himself. I don't know how all these people are going to react in different, countries. Who knows? We'll see.
But it'll be good for him.
You have a recommendation of a country he should go to? Because we have our in with his people. If you want to, we can let his people know.
Well,
or if any of your people
just because we're of Polish descent, I would recommend checking out Poland because I've always wanted to go there and kind of find out what's going on in that part of the world.
Okay, that's a good one. Poland's a good one, yeah.
And I hear South Korea's really popping these days. We got a recommendation for Brazil here.
Brazil. Okay, great. Yeah. That would Brazil is a great one. Yeah. Maybe South Korea, he could kind of meet with some of these some of the bands there, right? Like BTS or something, right? Yeah,
definitely. That K-pop.
Maybe they'll take him in,
You know what? I could definitely see him running a K-pop band. I definitely could see that. Just front man, bat boy. That could be a good way to kind of get him back into the limelight and really get that following coming. So if he does decide to run for sure again, it might be helpful.
I think he could be he would be a good addition to BTS if they wanted to do like a little record with him or something. He would, but I don't know if they would want him because, he might steal the show.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right? They're all, teen heartthrobs or heartthrobs, but, not on the level of Bat Boy, really. I don't know.
Yeah. I could see how they wouldn't want to be upstaged in such a fashion. It could damage them in the long run. So I could see that being an issue.
But so Roby's right. Is Brazil is another great one, and I think it's too late to get them down there for Carnival. I don't know if they're even having it this year.
Yeah, who knows? I haven't seen much. I'm still upset over no Coachella again. I had a whole thing trying to see Rage Against the Machine. Finally got back together. And,
they canceled it again this year.
They're moving Coachella back again because I just saw a little article. They're moving it back some more. So, who knows with Carnival though? Brazil does their own thing. So, who knows?
Well, maybe we should start a new one down in your parts, Bachelor or something.
There we go. That would be amazing.
Yeah, like it is the Bat Boy Music Festival. That that might be good. We'll let them know about that too. That'd be good.
Yeah, we got lots of open spaces here too, so could definitely host a
music
fair
festival.
amount of people. Yeah, we could definitely could be hosted out here. There's lots of open spaces, and
maybe we can get a music festival. There's a lot of music acts that have been fans of Bat Boy and Wicked World News from actually punk world, heavy metal. David Byrne, he wrote a movie actually based on Wicked World News stories called True Stories way back.
Actually, I was going to ask you if there's ever been a Wicked World News movie too. That's one of those things that I was
he called it True Stories, and then you can read recently that he was a big fan, and he based it on that whole Wicked World News thing. But yeah, we're actually working on a couple independent movies and TV thing and a podcast, which hopefully in about maybe 4 months or so we'll have it up and running. We can have Justin and Diana.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting news. Big news on the Wicked World News front.
Well, that's a little news for you too. We got a lot of things moving. We keep growing. We want to keep expanding and get it back out there. Get people know about Wicked World News. It's your only reliable news. It's the only place you can go where you can have full faith and trust in these stories. The stories that no one else is writing about. Really.
Yes. We need those stories in our lives. I got one more question. I don't know how much time you got left. We're at 46 minutes.
I'll take another question.
I got one last question. Just this is more of a speculation. Just to see, where do you think we'll see the next Elvis sighting? I'm just wondering. It's been quiet on the Elvis front lately. Do you think he's going to pop back up, or do you think he has finally passed this time? I don't know. It seems very quiet there.
We did have a story back in whatever year it was, I forget, but in the 90s when he was 58, late 90s, or maybe early 2000, and that he died. So we did have a story that he died, but then that turned out to, like these things, that it was not true again. So I think he's around 85 or 86 years old now, something like that. He's pretty old. Yeah. And there are rumors out there. Some even have said that he was back in Kalamazoo, of all places. I don't know what it is with Kalamazoo, but there was someone that spotted him outside Graceland about 10 months ago. So there are still people talking about it, and maybe he'll live to 100. I don't know. We're not sure, but right now he's been doing pretty well since he died back in 77.
Yeah, well, sometimes that fame, you just need to. It gets too much. You just get overrun, and you just need to, step away from the limelight. And I can see why he would want to, disappear like that.
Well, you know what he said. They said he had a twin brother, right, that died.
Yeah,
but did he die? That's true. So maybe the twin brother had lived, and then Elvis died. And we're trying to figure this all out, but
there's a lot of mysteries out there in the world.
There's a lot of mysteries, and we're trying to just make some sense of the world for everybody. We get suppressed by the mainstream media, and that all might be for a reason too, because they want people to think that we're reporting on silly things that aren't true, but maybe they just want us to do that so that you don't know that they are true. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It gets very complicated, but that's why we have our journalists working hard on it.
That's very true. Very true. It's a good thing you're out there, busting your butts, getting those leads. I definitely gonna find a raid here real quick and pass people off, but real quick, I'm gonna throw these banners up for weeklyworldnews.com, and then we have here on Twitter. Those are the ones that I had researched. That's how we got in contact through the old Twitter machine. Yeah, so I'm gonna go find
Facebook. We have a bigger following. It's the same thing. Wicked World News. We have I think 140,000 right now on there. So You can find us there.
That's a good little follow in there.
Yeah.
We also have a Facebook too. I'll find you guys on our Facebook, and we'll give you a little follow on that.
Okay. Yeah, we're following you too. We're supporting you guys as you grow and expand, and we'll take over this whole media world together. How's that sound?
There we go. Weekly World News and Paraco Productions.
Exactly.
Taking the world by storm.
Exactly. Exactly what we're going to do. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to send this raid over here. I'm send them off to a raid. We're going to be raiding Ploppadoodle for anybody that's following us. And this has been a little best of the bottom little interview with Greg D. Alessandro. I keep messing up your name.
Oh, that's cool. Everyone knows that. That's great.
But I definitely want to thank you for your time. It was awesome. It was an honor to be able to talk to you. It's been nice to be part of this, bringing Weekly World News back to the forefront. Keep that reliable news source out there. You know, times are tough, and it's just we need the Weekly World News more than ever, I think.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. And I thank you, Justin and Diane. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. And anytime we'll talk again. You know.
All right. Thank you very much. And
okay.
Let's send a raid over to Ploppadoodle, and then we will be out.
Okay.
And tastes pretty good.